sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The more you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Oh, you're doing me wrong, so wrong. But that my pride was wrong. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lives come tumbling. Deny my place and time. You squander wealth that mine. One night will shine so brightly it will blind you. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Oh, you're doing me wrong so long. Thought my ride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, we can have better. Look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. 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 Something inside so strong. Oh, know that I can make it. You're doing me wrong so long. So that my pride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Inside so strong. Know that I can make it. You're doing me wrong so long. So that my pride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 21st day of the third month of 2023, the International Year of Millets. A millet is a cereal grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils, bearing a large crop of small seeds, which are chiefly used to make flour. 2023 is also the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace. Here in Jamaica and in the United States, the month of March is being observed as Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month. Also in the US, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, Endometriosis Awareness Month, Salt Awareness Month, and Women's History Month. In the UK, March is also Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. It's World Down Syndrome Day. And in case you missed it, yesterday was the official start of spring. And so spring New Year celebrations continue from Tajikistan to Afghanistan, Albania to Iran, from Kyrgyzstan to Turkmenistan, Iraq, and Switzerland. Similar celebrations, Celtics, Baha'is, Sikhs, pagans, and Shintos. It's the anniversary of the installation of the Sultan of Terengganu in Malaysia, Dia de Nacimiento de Benito Juárez in Mexico, Human Rights Day in South Africa, Independence Day in Namibia, Mother's Day in Egypt and Syria, National Tree Planting Day in Lesotho, and Youth Day in Tunisia. It's International Day for the elimination of racial discrimination, World Poetry Day, World Forestry Day. It's the eve of World Water Day. And this week is UCC Inauguration Week, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, marking this week as Inauguration Week. Hoy es martes el 21 de marzo 2023 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 21 mars 2023 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez, où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 21st of March, 2023, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you for yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
You can decide to turn your face away. No matter, cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Won't do. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. I know you refuse to hear my voice.
The louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness, your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 922-411-225, or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's powering your health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
No matter, cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Won't do. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We acknowledge those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281, 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM. And you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat, there's always YouTube. All you need is a smart device like a smartphone, tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, any one of those. Then you need internet connection. And better than that, internet connectivity. One sure way to test for connectivity is by opening a browser like Google Chrome, for example. And if you're able to browse, you're good to go. If not, then you might have an issue to contend with. In the meantime, we thank those of you who are joining us for the first time. Welcome back to those who have been with us for some time. Good to have you on board with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We started out this afternoon with a most powerful piece of poetry. A most powerful piece of poetry. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And we paired that with Labi Seafray's Something Inside So Strong. Good afternoon to Joan Edgehill. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. How are you? Nicole Thibbert, hello to you too. Audrey Smith says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere. Happy Tuesday to all. Listening and watching from Southampton. Loving the opening tune. Happy to hear that. Audrey Smith, thank you very much. Nicole Thibbert is also expressing her love, blessings, and gratitude for a beautiful afternoon. Grace Ann Dixon is greeting us as well. Good afternoon, Grace Ann Dixon. Trevor Anderson says, great song. Wish I could take credit for it. All I did was to select it and got it played. But thank you very much for your kind comments anyway. Thank you. What's on your mind this afternoon? The lines are open to you. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page, as you would have heard, and we look forward to seeing you online. Couple of stories trending. Slickiana murder accused denied bail. Rashawn Patterson, the man accused of last October's murder of social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend, was denied bail when he appeared before the St. James Circuit Court today. Probation for Portmore laborers who spent $1.7 million mistakenly sent to account. The two Portmore residents who spent $1.7 million mistakenly sent to their account from a financial institution today pleaded guilty in the St. Catherine Parish Court. Laborers 21-year-old Letina Ambersley and 24-year-old Dean Broderick. UWI PhD student gets leave to fight for degree. Student atop building at the Queen's School. Oh dear. We hope that one has been dealt with already. Court denies bid to introduce new evidence in New Day Noranda mining case. Red Stripe warns public about scam. St. Anne man charged after gun allegedly found under pillow. Those are just some of the stories trending and reported in the Gleaner's online platform, jamaica-gleaner.com. And so the lines are open to you. Whatever is on your mind, feel free to share. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876-365-3346. On this day in 1829, an earthquake in Spain killed 6,000 people. What a tragedy that was. On this day in 1844, a group of businessmen, including George William Gordon, Robert Osborne, and Edward Jordan, formed Jamaica's first life insurance company, the Jamaica Mutual Life Assurance Society, which eventually became known as Mutual Life. We told you about that 1829 earthquake in Spain that killed 6,000 tragically. There was another one, this one in 1857 in Tokyo, Japan, killing more than 107,000 people. Also, another bit for you. 1910, the U.S. Senate granted ex-President Teddy Roosevelt an annual pension of $10,000. President Roosevelt was lucky because before the 1958 Former Presidents Act, no formal provisions were made for former presidents. These days, the Secretary of the Treasury administers a taxable pension. It is equal to executive level 1 rate of pay. An executive department head's salary, which is now $191,300. That works out to $16,451,800. Here in Jamaica, some time ago, the Senate passed the amendment to the Pensions Prime Minister Act, allowing a person who ceases to hold the office of Prime Minister after the 11th of September 2007 to receive a pension equivalent to 2/3 of the annual salary pertaining to the current office of Prime Minister instead of an equivalent salary. So former Prime Ministers Patterson and Siaga and the widows of former Prime Ministers Manley and Shearer are receiving the same amount of money the current Prime Minister is getting. It's a little different for Bruce Golding, though. When Bruce Golding retires, as he has essentially, he's receiving only 2/3 of the annual salary of payable to the Prime Minister of the day. So Bruce Golding goes down in history up to this point as being the only retired Prime Minister who is receiving only 2/3 of the annual salary payable to the Prime Minister. And the current Prime Minister, I don't know, I haven't checked his numbers in a while, but I think by the time you put everything together, I think you're looking at about $8 million or so. Don't quote me on that. As I said, I haven't looked at the data in a little while, but previous knowledge of the numbers to some extent. And a lot of activities across our educational institutions because it's coming down to champs time once again. Let's take you down memory lane on that score. On this day in 1923, Jamaica College won boys champs at Sabina Park. JC edged past Woolmer's by a narrow margin, 30 points to 28.5 points. St. George's College, Calabar, and Monroe scored 15, 12.5, and 10 points. And let's see. All right, here's another gem for you. On this day in 1928, President Calvin Coolidge gave the Congressional Medal of Honor to Charles Lindbergh for his first transatlantic flight. First solo transatlantic flight and first non-stop fixed-wing aircraft flight between America and mainland Europe, May 20 to 21st, 1927. Charles A. Lindbergh flew Ryan monoplane named Spirit of St. Louis, 3,600 nautical miles, that's 6,700 kilometers, from Long Island to Paris in 33.5 hours. My God. 4 years later, in 1931, Charles Lindbergh inaugurated Pan American World Airways Southern Route, Miami, Havana, Kingston, Panama, by seaplane, landing near Bournemouth, Bath, Kingston Harbor, right here in Jamaica. On this day in 1928, for those of us who take electric irons for granted, on this day in 1928, the Jamaica Public Service Company offered new electric irons for sale at 12 shillings and 9 pence each. According to the advertisement in the press, an electric iron means more leisure and less labor at far smaller cost than the old flat iron. What a thing. Let's see. How about 1931? After serving the diocese for 17 years, Lord Bishop George Frederick Cecil de Carteret resigned as Lord Bishop of Jamaica. It happened on this day in 1931. In 1919, Bishop de Carteret founded Diocesan College for Boys. The school, which began as a preparatory school, had fewer than 20 students. In 1931, the name of the school was changed to the De Carteret College Preparatory School in honor of its founder. In the late 1950s, the need for secondary education in the island was rapidly increasing, And so the addition of a secondary department to the school was encouraged. A completely new school was built on what was then the football field. De Carteret College has always been a sought-after college. In fact, on February 20, 1968, the Hollywood actor, the great Sidney Poitier, came to Jamaica to enroll his nephew Dennis in De Carteret College. In 1974, De Carteret Preparatory School was phased out, and 2 years later, De Carteret College became grant-aided. The sixth form was discontinued, and the first batch of girls was admitted to the school. Good afternoon to the De Carteret College family. We remain honored and humbled to have been invited a few months ago to speak at your prize giving exercise. And boy, was it something. Goodness. Well done, DC. Monroe College won champs on this day in 1934 at Sabina Park in Kingston. Monroe accumulated 29.5 points. Jamaica College were second on 22 and Kingston College third on 17. W.L. Garcia and A.M. Swaby weighed in with 3-1-2 finishes in Class 2 to give Monroe a winning edge. The Monroe boys took the top two places in the 100, 200, and 440, with W.L. Garcia breaking the 440 record in the heats with a time of 54.8 seconds. Germany annexed Memel from Lithuania on this day in 1939. How about 1945? L.G. Fish, Public Relations Director of Hoopston Canning Company, arrived in Jamaica to select 115 Jamaicans to do in-plant work at the company's factory in Hoopston, Ohio, USA. The company developed a new sauce a year earlier, which it was now using in canning pork and beans without the pork, and which had gained wide acceptance among American housewives. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:33 on Power 106.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life. The Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, is responsible for licensing, certification, cess administration, and the provision of training and advisory services to farmers and other key stakeholders, as it regulates coffee, cocoa, coconut, and the spices including pimento, nutmeg, ginger, and turmeric. We own the Jamaica Blue Mountain and Jamaica High Mountain coffee trademarks. Please call us at 876-758-1259 or email legal@jacra.org.
The College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, continues to play its part in revolutionizing Jamaica's productive and education sectors for the demands of the 21st century. Learn more about CASE's philosophy, programs, and services in a special feature during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. on Power 106 FM. This feature is brought to you by the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, Pasley Gardens, Portland. That's a special feature showcasing the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Your lies will come tumbling. I was born through. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
Let's clear some more messages here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Horror 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Good afternoon to Sean Chambers. Asha Ash, hello to you too. And Seasoned Drummer, welcome. Howard Foster, good to have you on board. Karen Rowe, good afternoon as well. Thank you very much for tuning in, and all the very best. As we continue with some more of the history, let's go to 1956. Opposition leader Alexander Bustamante tells members on the government side of the House that he's not the illiterate person they think he is. I am graduate of the universities of Madrid in Spain and La Salle in New York, he thundered, and I have learned that education is not confined to books. I was once a police inspector and a first-class detective in Cuba. You boys, with your little senior Cambridge certificate, talk about education and think you know anything. I have my master's degree in Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. The words of then opposition leader Alexander Bustamante. Let's go to the phone lines and come back with more. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
I had intended to call you yesterday, but your program was more oriented around the NLA issues dealing with land acquisition and purchases and all of the intrigue that can sometimes follow those sorts of transactions.
Yes.
On Sunday, I had occasion to read a very interesting short article penned by one Tony Robinson. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at his contribution to the newspaper that day.
No. Sometimes it takes a couple of days for me to get around to reading the papers. Such is the story of my life. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, this gentleman is rather brilliant, and I'm ashamed that this was the first occasion that I was taking the time to read one of his articles.
Yes, he's very witty, very witty.
Yes.
And yes.
That cool there.
Sorry, the signal is fluctuating.
I'm sorry. Is that any better?
Much better, yes.
Right. So he seems to be rather adept at quoting Shakespeare.
Yes, very, very much so.
And this particular article is captioned "Men Pay and Pay and Pay," and he's referring to the tradition we have of cementing what we call amorous love in the covenant of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And having read the article and having discussed the article with a number of persons, was inclined to call because I don't know.
Sorry, losing you again.
Oh, is that any better?
Yes.
Right. Having read that article and having discussed said article with a number of persons in a circle that I'm a part of, I'm now questioning of what benefit really is it to a man to get married.
Yeah. Go on.
And I'm not saying this just to be controversial or facetious or anything.
Yes.
But well, as with most things, if you have something that is wrong and you correct and you overcorrect, you get to a point where the correction itself becomes a problem. Now, historically, women have been more or less the victims of a patriarchal society that seeks to take advantage. But I remember years ago, there was a controversy around the subject of whether or not a man could actually rape his wife. And having examined that subject in that context, I came to the conclusion that, yes, a man can indeed rape his wife. But this short article by Mr. Robinson has awoken some issues between myself and my friends and family that I think is worth exploring. Because if it is that the basis of marriage is the possibility of procreation, in other words, sexual relations formalized so that when you have children, it's in a structure called a family, then a part and parcel component of marriage is sexual contact between man and wife.
Yes.
Right. Now, almost as a rule, with most of the men that I've spoken to about this subject, they will say that on many occasions, that particular part of the equation seems to be deficient, where men are often left begging for favors in the bedroom. And yet, were it a situation where a man fails to live up to his part of the responsibility, even after the marriage is over, he has to continue to pay materially in terms of alimony or support. Now, one gentleman went as far as to bring up a rather interesting extreme example. There are two sisters from Amsterdam. They're twin sisters, and they're prostitutes. And between these two women, they have documented evidence to prove that they have slept with 335,000 men in their career.
You can't be serious. Oh dear.
You can investigate it. There's even a rather interesting documentary about them that you can access for free on YouTube.
Okay.
That's very illuminating. They average to have between 10 and a dozen different sexual partners every night for the course of their careers, and they've only abandoned that particular profession because of arthritic complaints. So I beg this question: if it is that these two women, albeit an extreme example, if it is that these two women could have shared 355,000 bed partners in the course of their professional career, how is it that some partners in marriage can't manage twice or thrice a week? And for the fact that the institution of marriage, by its very structure and implication, is for the purpose of formalizing the contact between a man and a woman, so that if a child or children are produced, it's within a context where everyone knows their legal rights and the parameters around which support and all those other good things are supposed to happen. Then it seems to me it should be structured in such a way that if there's a deficiency on either partner's part, then a dissolution should be able to occur without the man having to pay and pay and pay, as so eloquently illuminated by Mr. Robinson's article.
T. Rob, yes.
So what do you think? Or would I get into trouble for
No, there are those of us who have long thought about some of these things and have either resigned ourselves to making it work for us, or taking leave of absence, or totally absconding.
You see, Mr. Robinson, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Mr. Robinson's article, in a very humorous way, and often the most serious things can be discussed in the context of a joke. But what he brings up is something that we tend to ignore because, in the scheme of things, it is put as a back issue and not as something that is as upfront and as important as it really is.
Yes.
At the end of the day, human beings are sexual beings, and men in particular are driven by this desire to have intercourse, to the point where psychologists will say a man's sexual urges override even his urgency to eat food. If a man is given a choice between having sex and eating food in a context where he is hungry, is more likely to choose the former than the latter. So if it is that marriage is an institution that is supposed to represent the rights of men and women, it seems to me rather odd that the standard that applies is punitive to a man when a woman is able to say no, which is her right to say no, but to say no without any sort of penalty or punishment. If a man fails to provide and a lady decides to sue for divorce on the basis of that, not only will the relationship be dissolved, but the man might be compelled to support her for the rest of her life. So in that context, there should be a mechanism to say, if a man is disgruntled by the fact that, I came into this relationship, this formal relationship, marriage, with an expectation that I would be able to get a reciprocal sort of feeling of love and amorous attention, and it fails to materialize, then there should be a consequence and a penalty from the other point of view. Because using the extreme example of those sisters, and ironically, I think their name is pronounced Fokker, like the aircraft manufacturer. Right.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that, but please don't go any deeper. This is daytime radio, and it's free to air.
No pun intended.
Yes.
No pun intended. But if it is that at an extreme, motivated by money and profit, a lady is able to offer herself 10 times, 12 times to different suitors, then I would like a lady to come on there and explain how it is that this sort of favor can't be extended in the context of a marriage.
Well, which is why it's a case of to each his own. If you find yourself, if you wished and hoped and planned and expected a certain experience and it doesn't materialize, and that impacts on you and your well-being, then you have to make a decision. Either you're going to sit down and talk with your partner and make it very clear what the plan is, what the idea is, what the expectation. But although all of that would have been dealt with already, so it's a matter of deciding: do I stay in this and make the most of it, or do I move on? So it really boils down to the individual who finds himself or herself in a position where he or she is not getting what he or she expected or hoped for.
Sir Malcolm, I'll sum up with one last salient point.
Yes.
Now, if it is the responsibility of parenting falls on two individuals, mother and father, the other question now is, why is it that everything is skewed towards a woman's reproductive rights and men seem to have none? The only example that I could find of a man's reproductive rights superseding that of a woman was a case that came up some years ago.
Sorry, one moment, please.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock. Access Financial Services is granting you quick and easy access to loans with a few clicks from your phone. Say hello to convenience and goodbye to long lines. With the new My Access mobile app, you can apply for loans, check loan balances, schedule appointments, and the best part, make payments towards your loan directly from your phone. What are you waiting for? Download the My Access app today. Visit accessfinanceonline.com for more information. Experience the power of easy access with the new My Access mobile app. NIS pensioners and contributors, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's newly refurbished Customer Service Center at 14 National Hero Circle is now open to serve you better. They offer a range of services, including collection of applications, life certificates and change of address forms, preparation of contribution statements, and much more. Visit from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, or 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Fridays. The NIS always working for you. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for the NLA and you. a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's the NLA and you on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Thanks for holding. You were taking us to court a while ago.
Yes, Sir Malcolm. This particular case revolved around a lady who had gotten a diagnosis that required a surgical procedure that would basically render her incapable of having her own biological children. So she was given the option to remove eggs so that after the procedure, she would be able to have children. For whatever reason, I think the viability of storing eggs, she elected to have her eggs
frozen,
fertilized by her then partner to then be stored.
Mm-hmm.
After she got this treatment or whatever, she wanted to get pregnant. But at that juncture, the relationship between herself and her then partner had deteriorated to the point where he didn't want to have a child with her. So because the eggs were fertilized and because he had a parental right and he refused, so went to court.
Mm-hmm.
And it went all the way to the top court in Europe for human rights. And the man's right not to have a child outside of his will was upheld. But on the extreme opposite of that, some years ago, there was a millionaire guy somewhere in the United States that had basically a one-night stand with a lady. And he used a condom. And this lady went and retrieved the condom after the act and got herself pregnant by that process. And that man ended up having to pay support to the child that resulted from her action. And he had to pay support to her too. So it begs the question, Sir Malcolm, as men, really, what rights do we have in the context of marriage, relationship, reproduction? I think it's an issue that's worth contemplating and debating. I'm not saying that women haven't been subject to a lot of ills and negatives from society, but I don't think that because you have one side of the story where women have been subject to unfair and harsh treatment merely because of their gender should in any way not counter-reflect the other side of the story where men enter relationships and marriages with certain expectations only to find as the road goes down that it seems to be particularly onerous for men and probably unacceptably easy for women to take advantage of what a marriage or a formal relationship like that should be. And that's my contribution to your program for today.
Well, we thank you very much. A lot of food for thought. Let's ruminate on all you have shared with us and see how that shapes our positions, our respective positions going forward. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to Sir Malcolm.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. We have also been sharing with you some historical nuggets, especially those not unrelated to champs, which is fast approaching. We have another one for you. Jamaica College won champs with 51 points on this day in 1959 at Sabina Park. JC were winning champs for the 13th time. Champs was held over 3 days, starting March 19 and ending on this day in 1959. Kingston College scored 45 points and Excelsior and St. Jago 31. There was a horrible situation in South Africa on this day in 1960. Pan-African demonstration against laws in South Africa led to shooting of 57 blacks at Sharpsville, and a state of emergency was declared. Police fired on demonstrators in Sharpsville, South Africa, after which the African National Congress was banned. 25 years later, a march marking the anniversary was also disrupted by police fire. It happened on this day in 1985. And here's another champs blast from the past. Kingston College won their third boys champs title on this day in 1964 at the National Stadium. KC accumulated 86 points. Runners-up, Jamaica College, 38 points. Cornwall College and Calabar battled for third, with Cornwall College winning 31 points to 28, and Woolmer's boys fifth on 21 points. KC's Lennox Miller sprinted to a 220-yard victory over Clifton Forbes of Kingston Technical. This is the same Lennox Miller who won the Class 1 sprint double 3 times in a row, 1963 to 65. He ran the anchor leg for the Jamaican 4x1 relay team that broke the world record twice at the 1968 Olympics, where he won a silver medal in the 100 meters. In 1972, he was third in Munich. Miller and his daughter Inga, who represented the USA, are the only father-daughter pair to win individual Olympic medals. Let's continue with more on your program. We have someone here who has been holding for about 13 minutes. So we'll go. And we see Steve is trying to get in touch with us, but someone else is on the line you're calling us on now, Steve. That's why you're not getting through. Someone else is on the line already who has been waiting for more than 13 minutes. So please keep listening and you'll know when that line becomes free. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling both sides of the story.
Mr. Malcolm,
Good afternoon.
now?
Yes, your time.
Okay. I called the other day, but what happened now, I get cut off because my credit was out.
Sorry to hear
so
that.
I decided to call, back on the WhatsApp line. Now, this youth student that gone missing, what was her name again? Her name was Dean, something like that, Dean? Was it Jasmine Dean or her name?
Jasmine. Is it Jasmine Dean? I think so.
I think it's Jasmine Dean.
I think you're right, yes. I'll confirm in a moment.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, for over 3 years now. And as I was saying to you that something is not adding up in my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
Something is not adding up. Now, you see this bank machine, this teller machine, from the moment you enter that machine, those machines, they have a sort of built-in camera inside of them.
Yeah, that's true. And there are cameras all over the kiosk. Uh-huh.
All right. And you made a transaction. That transaction is also recording in the machine. But the time, the date, and the amount of money that you withdraw, and whatever transaction made, it is recorded.
Yes.
So in case of any security, the police can always go back to the bank. Maybe I'm not sure if they have to use a warrant to execute so they can retrieve those information. Now with Miss Dean, the commissioner came on the radar and he was giving some highlights as to what took place. And he was saying that they retrieved some information from a cell site and they discovered that the phone was in near the UE at say, let's just say 10:15. Are you hearing me?
I'm listening.
Okay. And then they say that, like they say now at say 10:30, the phone was somewhere in say downtown Kingston. And say by 11 o'clock, the phone was somewhere in Harborview. And by 11:30, they say the phone was somewhere in the Bull Bay area. And then by say 12 o'clock, 12:30, everything cut off. So they have no further trace from the cell site as to where the phone was being used. Now, after that, I think they held a person. A person of interest was armed there, and I think they held the person.
The person who was in possession of her cards and other documents, I think.
Right. Yes. So they found the Miss Dean, the position of the person, like bank card, purse,
Yes.
cell phone, and all of that.
Yes.
And eventually, that person was set free. Now, the question is, Mr. Malcolm, did they reach as far as go back to the bank to look on some cameras to see if that was it? Because you see, if I or anybody at all found a bank card, I kind of just go to the bank and push it in and just begin to punch some numbers and say I might look it up. No, because if you put in a code like 3 or 4 times consecutively,
I don't think you'd be allowed a fourth time either.
Really? It's gonna lock it down.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna lock it and it will take away your card. So for a person to this, because the young man that they held this, according to the young man mother, say the son told her that he found the card, so find it. Right? So they find it. So but if a person have to know the code in order to get money from the machine.
Oh,
I want to know how come they just hold that man and let him go and say they don't have insufficient information to hold. And I don't know what, but something I know, Mr. Malcolm.
Yeah, well, it happens too that they can't just go seek to go before the court with any flimsy evidence or insufficient data. It has to have weight. And so you might think why they didn't do this and do that, but perhaps it didn't rise to the level that would cause it to be brought before the court. Hold a moment, please.
Yeah.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
You know what I count, yeah. Hey, me count, you count. Census say all of we count. Hey, you count, me count. Census say all of we count. Information needed to develop the community. Them scouts them out and I get the reports. So don't bother hide when you see them.
Data collection for the census continues. Cooperate with the census takers as they complete this important national exercise.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and/or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
On your marks. Set.
The Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships takes place from Tuesday, March 28 to Saturday, April 1 at the National Stadium. And Power 106 FM brings you all the action. Tune into both sides of the story. Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31 for updates. Round up during Power Play. Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31. And live simulcast on Saturday, April 1. Coverage of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships is brought to you by Lock Safe and Vault Limited, Ricardo Stationery and Office Supplies, Patients First Pharmacy, Tomating's Hardware and Farm Store, Barry's Hardware, Beverly Hills Pharmacy, Wellington Dental, Signature Products and Awards Limited, and Margins Pharmacy.
Thanks for holding. The police, with the help of the Director of Public Prosecutions, would have to could only give their for want of a better term, their assent to going forward with the matter of the individual who had the cards, etc., if there was enough evidence, sufficient evidence to take the matter to court.
Mr. Malcolm,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what we're going to, what the people going to say, what they did, it's going to hold something not adding up, because did they go back to the bank to retrieve the camera to see who exactly, because they can't tell what time the money was drawn, what time and what date. Did they go back to the bank to retrieve all those information?
You mean to the money machine, to the area where the money?
They have to go. Remember, they have to go back to the bank before the bank can retrieve the information from the machine. So did they go?
Oh, you mean whichever financial institution owns that machine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we would like to hope and think and believe and trust that we have people, investigators competent enough to take into account all the variables in order to put a case together. I can't imagine that people would just say, you know what, forget it. Let's move on because this is not going anywhere, etc. As opposed to giving it a try.
Yeah. To this date, they should left no stone unturned, because from the moment they find that man with the youngest persons, that person should be the prime suspect, and they should leave no stone unturned until they get the truth out of that person.
Well, I'm sure.
No, you see, to my estimation, I'm not here judging, but to my estimation, that young man have a full information.
You're making an assumption there. Why do you say that? That sounds like a big assumption on your part. That he has a whole heap of information.
No, but Mr. Malcolm, I started by saying that those machines had camera built in.
Mm-hmm.
And every transaction that made, it is being recorded for security purpose.
But you see, it's one thing. It's one thing, sorry to cut you, but it's one thing to find somebody's bag, as happens all the time. And unfortunately, not everybody gets back the bag and the contents. Sometimes it's just some documents, but everything else gone. So that alone is not enough to conclude that it must be that individual.
I agree.
Right? You would need to then find evidence. You'd need to then, whether fingerprint, whatever other mechanisms are employed, in order to.
So I was saying then, it was just by luck, by chance, then that man just find the bag.
I don't know, but anything is possible, including that.
Yeah. So let's say he found the bag then, and he discovered that a bank card was in it. Why didn't he take those items to the nearest police station or to a radio station then?
And that wouldn't be odd. I hear the question, but that wouldn't be odd. There are people who do that all the time. They take what is not theirs, unfortunately. So
okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I know I can well understand your thinking in terms of making sure that all the bases are covered and all the use of technology, etc. But who is to say the investigators haven't done that? Why wouldn't they want to do that to demonstrate a level of openness, willingness, and stick-to-itiveness to pursue this matter. Surely it would be a feather in their cap to have rescued this individual from whatever has happened to her.
Yeah, all right, okay. Let us leave that there. One more quick thing before I go.
Yes.
On the subject of the Jamaica Railway Corporation.
Yes.
No, I've done a little research on the railway system, where it started and how it ended up here in Jamaica. And it is very fascinating.
Yes.
The railway was started in England by, I think it was a little white man they called George Stephenson. And my name happened to be Stevenson. It was started by him, and there was some tussle between he and another man, but he came out victorious for the invention, and then I think it spread to other countries. I think Jamaica was the third that have a railway.
Yes.
And as a youngster, I used to travel on the railway very quite often, and it was very, very fascinating. You see, I'm living in Montego Bay area, and I had a sister who's living in Kingston there. And, as a child, sometimes we couldn't wait until when it come to, we used to call it August holiday, that is in the summer. We couldn't wait for summer to come.
To ride the train.
To ride on the train. Because it was exciting. At some point in time, when we ride on the train, as a youngster, you see, if any one of us who could repeat the station from Montego Bay to Kingston will get a prize. And I could do that by just closing my eyes. But as time goes on and I get old, sometimes your brain starts to get shallow. But it was fun, and I don't know what from last year they said I think it was UTech University and another university from England that signed some agreement to try and see what they can do in bringing it back.
I think that's not going to be the big part of what big plans they have. I think that one is going to be confined, or the plan is to confine that one to the areas of Trenchtown, downtown, sort of a well, I don't have all the details, but what I do remember, because I did interview Dr. Kevin Brown, who is involved in that project, and my impression is that that's a tourist-oriented operation, not a public transport service plan for Jamaica.
But Mr. Shaw repeated over and over and over again that they are going to bring back the railway, because right now, in Montego Bay, where I'm from, the line between Montego Bay and Appleton Estate used to be a very, very prestigious tourist attraction. We used to have the Appleton Express that used to take tourists from Mobile, from cruise ship Mobile to Appleton and back, and it used to boom. Right now, in Mobile here, there's one hotel here, prominent hotel here. He's just waiting to get the go ahead from the government, because he's very large and he's big and he wants to involve in it. And I don't know what is holding back the government and the Minister of Transport, because that man, and I can't call his name because he's been knowing. His father used to have things running, and then his father died, and then he took over the reign, and that's the big people them that runs the sandals, the chain of sandals. Right? The son, he just waiting to have the gold from the Minister of Transport, because they wanted to refurbish and redo the track from Mobile to Appleton so they can start back the tourist express train. I don't know, they seem to some, that my mother would call lick and promise thing with this really. Lick and promise. And it is too long now. It's over 30 years that they closed the railway from 1992. And it is just lick and promise. And at one point in time, some people from India and they were ready to do the work, and I don't know what, it fell through.
Yes, I
Another
remember
company
that.
Herzog International, they were at it, and that fell through. Another company from Canada was at it, and that fell through. And it's just back and forth. It's like they're not going anywhere. And I would love to see, even Mr. Malcolm, I'm 61 years old now, and even before my eyes close, I would love to ride on the train before, even from Montego Bay to Kingston again.
And we really hope you get that opportunity.
Yeah. You remember when they had that little start from Lindsay to Spanish Town in 2011? Yeah, my kids, let me know. I have to drove all the way from Mudgate to Linstead, and I parked my car on the railway station compound at Linstead, and then we took the train to Spanish Town in the morning, and we go shopping in Spanish Town and Kingston. They took it back to Linstead, and they drove back to Montreal. I have to bring them on it so they can have the experience, and I would love it to come back again. So Western people, St. James, St. Elizabeth can see what railway is all about.
Yeah. It's been a long time since that was established. I think it was November 1845 at a cost of 225,000 pounds.
Yeah, I did my local research, you know. Yes. I did my local research when it started. And it is so sad though. I mean, every country, every third world country have a railway system. And some countries that stopped their railway years ago, and they bring it back. And they are doing very good. So I don't know what Jamaica is waiting on. But Mr. Shah, I heard him with my own ears, said they're going to bring back the railway. And that's all his team. They're going to bring back the railway. So I hope they do it.
Well, let's see. Thank you very much for the call. All the best.
You're welcome, Mr. Malcolm. You're welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And it's time for us to take another break. After the break, we're going to be talking about the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission's Festival Song competition.
The taller I become, the farther you take my rights away.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Join Alfie McKenzie during Farm Talk every second Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for a special feature that provides useful information on the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the role they play in Jamaica's agricultural sector. This feature is brought to you by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, 1 Willie Henry Drive, Kingston. That's the JACRA special feature every second Tuesday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
No matter, cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Won't do. There's something inside so strong.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And this afternoon, we are going to feature in this segment the 2023 staging of the Jamaica Festival Song Competition. And who better to tell us all about it than the Executive Director In a moment, we'll be connecting with the Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the JCDC, the Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, Mrs. Marjorie Layden Curtin. We're anxious to learn more of this year's activities and the plans for the Jamaica Festival Song Competition. Good afternoon, Mrs. Marjorie Layden Curtin. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sir Dervan Malcolm. I am doing Irish.
I can hear it in your voice.
I am doing good. Give thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yes, and good evening to your many listeners.
Thank you very much on their behalf. So let's not take it for granted that all those listening are familiar enough with the Jamaica Festival Song Competition and the history of this competition. I wonder if you could lay that foundation for us.
All right. It would be my pleasure because, you know, we work at the awesome Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, one of the government agencies set up to help to preserve this beautiful culture we have in Jamaica.
Yes.
And one of the strategies we have used over the many years to help to preserve what we have and who we are as Jamaicans are our many competitions. And the festival song competition is one of our, what we call a foundation competition. It has been around since 1966. For those who may not remember, I know everybody loves festival songs, but for those who may not remember, we started out in 1966, and it was that song, What a Bam Bam, by Toots and the Makers that herald in, you know, that era of the festival song. But it's a strategy that we have used by opening up to Jamaicans age 18 and over. You can never be too old. It is as young as you want to be once you're able to deliver. And what we try to do is to create a platform on which we give you exposure and take you now, not just to the Jamaican people, but give you exposure to the world. And then with all that has happened since the COVID-19, it has been good for us because it has enabled us to have now that online platform that many people were afraid to be a part of, but it has opened us to what we really call to the world. So that's where our competition. So it's open to 18, anyone who is 18 years and over, male or female, individual, group, and we're looking for your talent. And the festival song competition was built on your ability to come up with an original song. And it is just the same. We have, in a way, shifted the focus because we used to go across the island and just about anyone could just come up with them songs, but we're placing the competition. It has become of age. We're placing the competition where it's more now of a semi-professional, professional people that we're looking for in the competition. It's focused on 3 dynamic areas: original song, a good performer, and a good producer. We think that is that combination now that would come together to get you the winning song. A song which we use to celebrate and to, celebrate our independence and our emancipation period.
Yes. And there is something about the approach that you take to the Jamaica Festival Song Competition, isn't there? It's more developmental than anything else in terms of equipping participants, not just for this one-off, so to speak, this one-off participation in the festival song competition, but for the rest of their lives.
Yes, and that really is the essence of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, is a mandate in which we are going to try to find the skill and the talent that is out there. We're going to put you through some level of development, training, and then to showcase you. And throughout the year and forever, we involve you in as many activities and programs and showcases, so you are continually exposed. And you speak about that it's not just this one-off, but there is some development. Yes, there is training. We have our workshops that highlight various parts of life as an entertainer or an artist or as a writer, a performer. So you get training in all those areas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And as a producer, well, the producer is who we really expose you to, so you can have your work being produced in a marketable way, so you can get the benefit of the world. And if our listeners can recall, in trying to remember, see how good my memory is, we were still in the pandemic when we broadened that competition and invited as many persons, professional, semi-professional, anyone that you could enter. And we had Buju Banton coming in. And what that did, that CD, because what we do as we get our entries in, we have a slate of adjudicators who almost like blindfolded. They listen to the entries and they select a set that we then would put through to the semi-final, and then we bring it down to our top 10. And I believe in 2018, 19, when did we have our pandemic? 2020, and it was in 2021 that we had on the slate of those who had entered, we had a Buju Banton. I know sometimes you have a distinct voice, and you know, persons might hear, but we had put him through the rigors of that competition just the same. His music was listened to with no name, no identity of name or anything. And he became a part of a top 10 album. And that album had gone on to iTunes and across the world, over 30, what you call those?
30?
Platforms, right.
Okay.
Over 30 of those across the world. And almost got us to a Grammy nomination.
Oh, really?
The power. That's the power. The power of the music and the power of the participation. So you can imagine, we're saying to our many Jamaicans out there who have their singing talent, their writing skills, to come, be a part of this foundation competition, which has been the springboard for many noted artists who have gone on throughout the world to excel.
So for those,
yes.
Sorry, for those who are excited and anxious to get more information about applying to perform, to vie for a position, to compete in the festival song competition, what do they need to know? What do they need to do in order to give themselves an opportunity to be a part of this experience?
Very, very easy, Sir Malcolm. They only have to get their entries into the JCDC, and they can do so in two ways. We have an online platform. They can go to our website at www.jcdc.gov.jm. On that platform, they will see the online link where they can register and upload their CD. That's the first way they can go about. They can also go to any parish office. We have parish offices in all our parishes across the island. We're located in most town capitals. Again, they can check the website to get the exact address. They can get to an office. They can apply manually, fill out their form if they want to, but they still have to upload their entry CD. They have to upload, and we can provide some assistance to those persons who may not be so au fait, and we can assist them. Entry form, entry fee of all our competitions this year. This festival song has a minimal entry fee of $1,000. $1,000 to enter. And to alert and to tell everyone to get busy, our deadline for entries, we close on March 31, Friday, March 31. So that's all they need to do. Get those skills and talents together, get to their studio where they can record their winning song and get that entry to the JCDC online, or they can visit our parish office.
There are a couple of peculiarities about the song, and those who will be looking to submit the song. What must be in place? What must they consider when it comes on to the song itself and submitting that song?
All right, so it is an original song competition. So your song must be original, your music original. I know musically, they allow maybe 2 or 3 bars of something that they may know that kind of ring like something we know. But it is primarily an original song competition. Your lyrics, your music, everything has to be original. Also, it's 2.5 minutes on that CD. And you can also visit our website to get the details of the entry requirement.
Yes.
But those are the basic things. Make sure it's an original, your lyrics, your music, the length of the time of the entry, 2.5 to 3 minutes, and you'll get those uploaded to the system and you're ready to go. But what I can encourage, and I always hear our musicians speak to this, is that you must try to prepare your entry as professionally as you can. Mm-hmm. Get to some kind of studio. Don't stay in your bathroom and try to use those acoustics. They're called acoustic.
Yes.
Sir Dervan, to try get the song across. Right. Don't try to just sit on your one keyboard and play all 5 or 10 different instruments.
One moment. Tell us some more after the break, please. We need to take a break. One moment, please. Mrs. Marjorie Layton Curtin, Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, on the 2023 Festival Song Competition.
For any project, ABC Electrical Sales has all your electrical supplies at the best prices. 8 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 7543714. The time by ABC Electrical Sales is
3:45.
Chad Ad Distributors are the island-wide distributors of the popular Maxxis tires, plus Sumitomo, Falcon, and Solidil. For batteries, Mayatsu, AC Delco, and for lubricants, it's Petro Canada. Visit us at 87 to 91 First Street, Newport West. Telephone 901-6612 or 383-4363. Chad Ad Distributors Limited, your place to retire.
You are an exporter, helping to elevate the face of our international trade. But in order to do that, and all the other tasks on your list, you need someone that understands you. We know that finding adequate collateral as a SME can sometimes be challenging, which is why we've partnered with our friends at JMB to bring you the EXIM Expert Guarantee to give you that extra collateral support where you may need it. Call EXIM Bank to find out more about the EXIM Export Guarantee. EXIM Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
On your marks. Set.
The Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships takes place from Tuesday, March 28 to Saturday, April 1 at the National Stadium, and Power 106 FM brings you all the action. Tune into both sides of the story. Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31 for updates. Roundup during Power Play, Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31, and live simulcast on Saturday, April 1. Coverage of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships is brought to you by LockSafe and Vault Limited, Ricardo Stationery and Office Supplies, Patients First Pharmacy, Tomating's Hardware and Farm Store, Barry's Hardware, Beverly Hills Pharmacy, Wellington Dental, Signature Products and Awards Limited, and Margins Pharmacy.
In time, you squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our guest is Mrs. Marjorie Layden Curtin, Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC. We've been discussing the Festival Song Competition for 2023. That's where we're at right now. And Mrs. Layden Curtin, I beg your pardon, I'll give you an opportunity to complete what you were saying just before the break, before we ask you another question or two. Did we lose her? Hello? Let's try and reconnect with Mrs. Marjorie Layden Curtin, Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the JCDC, on the 2023 Jamaica Festival Song Competition. So we have gotten a bit of the history from Mrs. Layden Curtin, and also information on how Jamaicans can apply and get additional information with respect to the competition. Sorry about that disconnection, Mrs. Layden Curtin. Thank you for holding.
Yes, Malcolm. No problem.
Right. All right. So let's get to the matter of see if we can give some of the potential festival song competitors, participants, by virtue of the elements. What are the judges looking for? What are they listening out for? What are some of the things a potential Jamaica Festival Song competitor needs to be mindful of?
All right, I'm not looking at those particular criteria, which again, I'm going to ask, for persons just touch base, get to our website. We have the manuals there. We have the criteria, the rules, the regulations. But from my knowledge of working with the festival song competition these many years, is that we are looking at musicality. What kind of sound you're going to give that will cause the Jamaican people, there must be some line in it, I believe, that will sort of rally people. And you will have in that song a line that everybody can sing along. Those are winning elements to me that you can look at.
Yes.
Also, the quality of your music. You have to know what kind of rhythm you know move Jamaican people. I can't give it away. But you have to do your research and come up with something that you know will
resonate with the people.
Resonate with the people and cause our Jamaican people to move at the sound of that beat. That it's irresistible. They have to move with it. So it's a combination of that right sounding lyrics and the rhythm. And I don't want to say to you it has to be a traditional song. It has to be mento, or it has to be reggae, or you have to know how to combine these genre of music that we ourselves have owned over the years, that makes a good song that is celebratory in nature, that the Jamaican people and our visitors to the island will want to rally around during our independence and our emancipation celebration time. And a song that can outlive that period and can be played. Look, if you look over the years, the kind of festival songs that we have had, there is no just one thing that makes it a festival song. When it was Watabamba, because at the time I get the mento or whatever, you got that heavy bum bum,
Yes.
or that rhythm of the drum or the bass. So you just have to know how you can pull together what it is about Jamaican music that can get our people moving. And as I said, a well-produced song, so don't do your song. Don't say because I'm just entering, I don't even going to love my song or like my song or select my song. You have to give something that would be worthy so that the judges can be moved by that song. But I know for sure you must have some element in there that persons can sing along with you, it resonates with them, as you say, and that the rhythm is something, even a baby, once they hear that rhythm, they got to move. That for me is the element I would want to have in here. Another thing I would advise to Sir Dervan is sometimes we have persons who can write well. They do good with their songs, but they are not good with the singing. I think, or artists or musicians need to know where they can produce a song that they bring all those elements together well. So there is nothing that say I have to write the song and sing the song and produce the song. It may not be the winning thing, but if you can find, you got the good lyrics and you can find the voice that can express that song for you and produce it well enough, it's gonna be a winning song. And this could be a good reminder too. We have a great prize package when it comes to the festival song competition too. We call this a winner's prize because this year we're offering $3 million, again, as we've done over the last 3 years or so, where the winning song that has like the best lyrics or so, the singer of that song and the producer each get $1 million. So if one person can produce and sing and write, they can walk away with $3 million plus. And if not, that combination can come together and everyone benefits from participating in the competition. And I said 3 million and plus because there are other prizes there. We look at performance. They usually give a best performer. Also, we may have a popular vote for something. They may also get some award for that. And the adjudication of the best song is a combination of both. We're still keeping that element where the population can vote for their winner, but we also have the judges. So it's a 50-50. The judges who can look at the criteria that is needed there, the musicianship, the performance, the lyrics and its effect and so on. And we combine those scores and we get our winner. So it's an excellent competition.
Indeed, and it continues to cut right across generations, from generation to generation, and the tradition continues. So as we wrap then, Mrs. Marjorie Layden-Curtin, Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, for emphasis, leave a word or two with our listeners, especially those who aspire to participate in this year's Jamaica Festival Song Competition.
Certainly, Dervan, we're going to say we are open for business and our competitions are back, live and direct. Enter our entertainment competition, festival song, Jamaica gospel song, Miss Jamaica Festival Queen. The deadline for entry, March 31. And for our festival song competitors, Remember, entry fee $1,000. You can enter online or you can visit the parish office and make your application and get assistance in uploading your entry. Winning song, you have the winning song. Best lyrics, good performer, and well produced.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mrs. Marjorie Layton Curtin. It's been a pleasure. No doubt we'll be seeing and hearing a lot more of you in the upcoming, in this busy festival season.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Mrs. Marjorie Layton Curtin, Acting Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the JCDC, giving us an update on the Festival Song Competition 2023. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. Steve McDonald in Toronto, Canada, has been waiting patiently for some time now. On this occasion, up to 10 minutes and 7 seconds. Thank you for your patience, Steve McDonald. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dervan. This wasn't the reason why I had called, but kind of piggyback on what was talking about yesterday when I heard the lady before mention about Bojo and the competition. We have to be more mindful of the people who we put out there as examples, because a young person will see and will hear of everything that Bojo has done, the good and the bad, and will say, oh, so if I can go and do X, Y, and Z, it's not a problem, and I can get promoted by my government. It's just the same as when we heard Christopher Tufton during COVID time saying that he would consider using cartel. I'm like, are we serious about changes? We continue to hold good and evil in not even different hands, but in the same hand, and then we expect better. Anyway,
hold a moment, please. We're on a break. One moment, please.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. March 22 is observed globally as World Water Day. Every year since 1993, World Water Day has been raising awareness and inspiring action to tackle the water and sanitation crisis that now affects some 2.2 billion people globally. Tune in to Power Talk with Simon Croskill, Wednesday, March 22, live from the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case in Paisley Gardens, Portland, for insightful discussions on World Water Day. This broadcast is brought to you by the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case, Conway Douglas and Associates Limited, and Environmental Science and Technology Limited, and the National Irrigation Commission Limited. That's Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday, March 22, celebrating World Water Day, right here on Power 106 FM.
To turn your face away, no matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Won't do. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho,
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past. Make that now 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, Steve McDonald in Toronto, Canada, has been holding. Thanks for holding, Steve. Please continue.
Thank you very much, Dervan, and thanks for that musical selection. Because the higher we build our standards, the better our people shall become. And the more we lower our standards, the louder I shall become. Anyway, my interpretation of the lyrics.
No, we get it. We get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to get it. Because
Mm-hmm.
we need to change. We need to change. And the change have to start with each of us. And the liquor, we're not connecting the dots. We're not seeing the liquor things. We're promoting certain people. We're putting them on pedestal. And then when a child turn around and do that same thing, we wonder why. Anyway,
Yeah.
as I said, the reason why I called is I noticed that you have not reached around to this yet on this time in champs to say that man in school had won girls champ 3 times. Right? So but probably you haven't reached the rural schools as yet. So I was just wondering, I just don't want it to slip, you know what I mean? Because I know you have limited airtime.
No.
So I didn't want that to go unnoticed because we in our country sometimes we get left, right? So, and the town school, they only want to get big up. So I needed to ensure that it was mentioned.
I hear you loud and clear.
School, yes, has won. Man in school, female, have won the girls' champs 3 times.
Yes.
In addition to that, I was just reminiscing on the thing that you mentioned about mangoes.
Yes.
And interestingly, I think Angela had mentioned that she doesn't see any Bombay here, which, yeah, interestingly, we don't really see that variety here in Canada. And but what is also interesting and what I've noticed is that when the government does an announcement, so they're sending mangoes to New York, we don't get any. And when they also announce that they're sending it to UK, we don't get any either. So it seems as if it's just one mango.
They're conspiring.
So
they're conspiring against you.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we eventually have enough that we can supply or adequately supply the markets. And yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, I don't know why it's only East Indian and Julie, because Bombay is good. I know back in Westmoreland we used to have this mango called Graham mango. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
It's not the big ones, the massive ones. It's not those.
No, that's Hayden.
Oh,
the
okay.
big one is Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hayden kind of fluxy still.
Uh-oh.
It's not as sweet as the other. But then you have Stringy and you have Number and Green Gauge. It'll be interesting to hear some of the other names from some of your other callers. So if they can even drop it in the chat group, that would be great. To hear some of the other names of mangoes.
Sure.
Interestingly, Dervan, what I've seen here is even Stringy coming up here, you know, coming to Toronto.
Oh, really?
From different countries. Yeah, which I found to be interested. And what
Stringy,
we would call as
Stringy,
common mango.
Stringy get visa.
Yeah. Stringy get visa. That's foreign. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so I know you'll get around to the managed thing eventually, but I just wanted to make a note. And nice talking to you as usual.
No problem.
But, please accept my apologies. I did not say good afternoon to your listeners. I just went into my rant. But good afternoon to your listeners and to the people of Westmoreland and Savlamar, Manning School, and Lennox Pickets in particular. All the best. Talk soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's Steve in Toronto, Canada, originally from Lennox, Bigwoods, and Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland, a proud past student of the Manning's School. Thank you very much, Steve, for your input. As we continue with more here on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And let's see who's coming in on this line now. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mal.
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm alright. Okay, I'm happy with that. But before I go to some of them.
You sound as if you just wake up.
Okay.
Did you just get up?
Hello?
You sound as if you just wake.
Oh, and I was turning a bit. Alright, so you're in me loud and clear now?
Yes.
Okay, the last call I have there. You make 2 points there. Mention, I won't go over them, but you mentioned 2 entertainers there. And I believe if sometimes people make a mistake and give them a chance and they can do good for themselves.
Yeah, that was the point I wanted to go to next. But then we got to the break and I had to take that break. So yeah, I wanted to get in that point as well to ask if there is a place, if Steve sees a place for those who have made mistakes, and whether there is any route for them to come back, so to speak.
Yeah,
but then go ahead.
I understand if they continue doing the same thing, then you can push them aside. But if something happened one time and they don't repeat themselves, then you can't get them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe in that.
We hear you loud and clear.
I've known members of the police force and the army who have get themselves in trouble. They never get convicted, but they get a break and they do good for themselves. So I know what life is when they give them a second chance and they make good account of themselves.
Yes.
All right. Next point. I listened to something come up in the news about the ATM people and the security again. No, they keep saying, I hear this thing saying all the while. If you do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, I think something wrong with the brain. Because I think week before, they come and attack, and I don't know if it's a hours is a problem, but I believe if they're gonna go at the machine. With the first incident, the news said it was 3 security. This time is 4. Those hours at night when the criminals are out, they should have enough manpower out there to make sure that when the criminal launch attack, they come under pressure and they have to retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you're doing it in that hours and you find there's a problem, if you do it in, like, say, 10 o'clock in the morning with every security, I don't think this criminal will take a chance that time. Like, you're going to make it impossible for them. So they have to try something different. They can't do the same thing over and over and expect it going to work.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Yes, naturally, if you are employing a particular strategy and you find that it's not working or it's not as effective, or there might be elements that are not working in a cohesive manner, then the thing to do would be to to take another look, re-examine the situation, and see if it's possible to find another way.
Yeah, everything feel light, you know. When like 10 o'clock, and they have every schedule, they don't want to take a chance like that because it's gonna be impossible for them. And then you carry, you put at the machine, you have two police cars there, waiting till the machine they don't service the machine, then they come have to think twice and try something else. But like I said, you know, I don't know what they're thinking. Okay, next point now. Earlier, I know you mentioned about some prime minister wife and sitting prime minister getting the same pay as the sitting prime minister. My question to you now, during their time of working, if they never make it, is now they're gonna make it.
I don't understand what you mean.
All right, if you never make enough funds to carry out the rest of your life when during the time in office, when you retire, my understanding, if you're getting the same as the sitting prime minister, then that's what they do it like that.
Yeah, that's it is exactly how I read it from the Gleaners archives. That's what happened. So only one prime minister made it clear that he didn't think that he should be earning the same as a sitting prime minister, and that's Bruce Golding. And so he gets what's that figure? 2/3 of what the sitting prime minister gets. 2/3.
So what about the regular man and woman who have worked hard and retire have nothing to sustain them until they pass on?
Well, there are all kinds of different. One of them relatively new, and it's a drop in the bucket, as pension money usually is for the most part. There are a couple of there are those who would have contributed through NIS, so they have something to get, and the regular PAYE, pay as you earn population. There's a percentage of of uh, of their funds which would have been uh, managed and given to them or disbursed during their retirement age. And then there's one for those who don't have any documentation of any work in any sustainable way or whatever. So they just create. It's more like a grant than anything else, rather than a pension. And we know that less than 10% of our people have a pension plan or have a retirement plan or a nest egg, less than 10%. So it means a burden will be on governments to come, governments present and governments to come.
But the problem we have in Jamaica, Mr. Malcolm, them say Jamaica is a history country, and I believe that now. We have the highest paid workforce in the world.
Where did you get that from?
Yeah, man, if you check it out, man, there's nowhere in the world you find man I get 100,000 a month, 200,000, go right down to 50,000 a month. You don't find that nowhere in the world. But the problem we have faced.
What are you talking about? You can't be serious.
Yes, man.
You can't be serious. Where's the data? Where are you getting that information from? That Jamaica has the highest earnings in the world or something like that? You can't be serious.
Man. Check your record, Mr. Malcolm. Listen, if you check across the world, most people, even in those big countries like America, England, Canada, the money where and man get him pay in Jamaica. And number one, to be exact, look at the US president.
Are you listening to yourself?
Yeah.
You can't be serious.
You know, a reality check here. A policeman in the United States, a regular policeman will pay around 4,000 or 5,000 for the month. Jamaican police, the least may walk away with 100,000 for the month. Am I right or am I wrong?
The US dollar and the Jamaican dollar are not the same.
But we're living in two different countries, Mr. Malcolm.
The US dollar and the Jamaican dollar are not the same.
Well, I have a police president came and I check him the same thing. And we don't even complain about that. The problem is not the money is the problem. If the cost of living is a problem. Until the government can find some way to fight down cost of living.
It sounds like you're talking about two or three different things at the same time. That's not how you
Yeah, but if
started.
you give a man, no, Mr. Malcolm, we have to face some reality here. All right, say you give a man $100,000 a month. Just word speaking. And then the light man, him want 40,000 tight, the water man, him want 20,000 tight, and it come with a cost. Him not going to have anything.
Yeah,
Right,
but we all as individual leaders in our respective families, we have these matters. We'll always have these matters to deal with. This is life. It's called life, and it's a function now of how we position ourselves in order to successfully climb whatever mountains we need to climb and swim whatever seas we need to swim in order to at least survive at a minimum and then work our way
yes,
from
but
there.
the person, I'm sure you have some minister who in charge of the utility company. And if him not willing to stand up and make them understand and say, listen, the people cannot carry this burden, he's pressuring to them and try to give them they can even do what they call a massive campaign, making everybody hook up to the system right across the country and give them a price that them can afford. But if you give them something or pressure them,
Yeah, but we don't have oil wells in Jamaica. We haven't yet found oil in Jamaica. And therefore, we find ourselves in a situation where we are consuming energy that is essentially produced elsewhere in terms of or fueled from elsewhere. Like the oil that we import is what, close to 3 billion, is it, or 2.5 billion US dollars a year or something that we're spending on oil, and JPS is dependent on oil for their operations. I think about 97% of their operations.
I understand that, Mr. Malcolm, but at the same time, I don't know how the people go and get out of this problem.
Well, they will get out of it how they have always gotten out of it. It's one of the realities of life, and we're not making light of this situation, but it's one of those realities. We try as individuals to make the most out of life, to do the best we can, to do the best with what we have, make the most of the little we have, etc. And some of us make it and make it successfully. Others of us struggle. And it's a function now of us being our brother's keeper that will help the others who are struggling. So that if we find ourselves in positions where we can help, let us help the weak. There's a saying, help the weak if you're strong, help the old if you're young, keep a guard upon your tongue, own a fault if you're wrong. So man, I keep saying as well, man was made for this. Man was made for this. There are always going to be good times and bad times. And unfortunately, as the song says by Bob Marley, sadly, many more will have to suffer. Many more will have to die. The hope is that, and the plan should be, more of us extending ourselves as best as we can, those of us who are managing, to extend ourselves as best as we can, so we can be that backstop, to use a term that is quite common these days ever since Brexit, to create some kind of a backstop so that when the vulnerable among us fall, they land on some kind of cushion if they have to fall. So it's just about us rallying around as a people, helping each other where we can, when we can, however we can, and not to the point of mendicancy, but to help to teach a man how to fish rather than just to give him a fish. And by the time he's finished eating that fish, he's ready for another fish.
I understand them, some Malcolm. Some of those words are nice in many people's head, but at the same time, the reality is sometimes you want to help a man and the pressure is also down on you, so you can hardly help a man when you can barely help yourself.
Well, you help who you can. If I can help somebody, the song says, as I pass along, then my living shall be in vain. You're perhaps thinking of being able to have 50 million to give to somebody. It's the little things that mean a lot, as the song says. There's a song with that line as well. Those little things. Sometimes all someone wants is a listening ear, because that helps to take off some of the stress and the pressure. At least, if even just for that moment, that period of time. But it's about doing what we can, helping. What else are we here for on this earth, if not to help each other, if not to be our brother's keeper? For those of us who are really and truly of that kind of a mindset, let's just do what we can for whomever we can, for as long as we can. I mean, that it seems to me goes much further than spending the time belly aching, because that belly aching is just going to lead to more belly aching.
Okay. I listen sometime with the people in sell motor vehicle. I listen and come on the program, not your program, but sometimes in the morning they have that program and they come on. And when I hear the price for a monthly payment for people who trust motor vehicle, I understand like entertainers and politicians and some people in some IP job can go pay. But what about the little small man who would want to live a regular life and have a vehicle from move around? I don't see that may work good for him.
Well, you have to live within your means and try not to put your hat where you can't reach it. And if you are going to be borrowing money, it must be in order to make money, so that you can repay whatever loan or loans you have, and at the same time be able to keep your household going, to keep the lights on, as they say.
Yeah, but all I set up, well, we know them settings and time will change, and we'll have to change or we keep pace with the changes. But years gone when a man working, the idea of working is to pay your bill and to save something that if you're sick or if you're like your older people.
And that hasn't changed. People continue to do that.
You do that with nothing. I've seen people work and they just can't save anything.
People have to keep on moving. It's a story of life. You have to keep on moving. You have to keep on moving, literally and figuratively. A body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest.
I understand. But at what point they're going to return and say, this is my life, my earning in life. And this is
some of them will have that experience. Some of us will have that experience. And sadly, some of us won't. It's a fact of life. The point I'm making is we have to take cognizance of our environment, our conditions, both at the macro level and the micro level, and organize ourselves accordingly. Because for the most part, nobody is going to do it for us. So we have to try, as my late mother would say, and pencil it out. Pencil it out. And see what is possible.
Pencil out is, I mean, I understand the part, but boy, the stress will carry some time, boy, it look like some boy, the pencil thing not gonna work out.
Well, if you keep using that word, that alone is going to weigh you down. STRESS. It all starts in the mind, you know. Everything starts in the mind, and the kind of outlook that you approach life with. It does make a difference between a glass being half full or half empty.
All right, one last thing before we go. So when we put on something, say this after old age, and then that problem, we see the people in my face again. And not just Jamaica, everywhere. The bank people have the next problem again. I hear one person complain that the bank is charging them for using the ATM too often, not using it too often, and if you go to the teller, they might go charge you. So what might happen, listen?
That's why there is competition. That is where now you check around, you shop around. There are financial institutions in Jamaica that don't charge fees where others do. If you don't want to leave, if you are wedded to the particular financial institution you do business with, then so be it. It means you're not going to move from there. You'll continue to suck up and put up with whatever they do, as opposed to shopping around to identify sources of a greater level of sustenance and sustainability.
Yeah, but I one of them well-known institution do some advertisements say low or no fee. You the catching part of it? Low or no fee. So I test them to see what this no fee is all about. Because if you say the fee is low, I understand that. But when you tell me say no fee, what is all about? And anyway, me take it, them corner me have to come up with some money.
Well, you want to be cornered and for them to shake you down.
No, I don't have a choice because
you do have choices. You do have choices.
Yeah, but they say anyway, go make a joke, you know. If what another one of the same thing I come with.
Well, keep the money under your mattress then and see what happens.
And then them have a law say if you catch $1 million in the house, you go to prison. So
well, maybe you prefer that. So go ahead.
So you're telling me now to avoid the bank and keep my money, me prefer to go to prison.
No, but that must be what you want to hear because I don't know what you expect.
Yeah, but I put it there for see to keep it and it take time to eat away. I mean, can't keep it on my house. So what am I going to do?
I'll give you 3 words I learned from a movie. Deal with it. 3 words. Deal with it. Full stop.
All right, boss.
Just as you have dealt with all the other things that have happened in your life until up to the point at where you are right now. You have had to deal with all of that and you have come this far. No time for turning back right now. Forward ever, backward never. Yes.
One last thing for you. I went up to the teller and I was trying to update my book. But when I see the line long, I say, at the machine, I say, all right, give me X amount of money. The lady asked me, say, if I reach retirement age. I said, no. She said, it won't cost me $1,000 to draw my money. I mean, I said to her, look at the line there. And he wanted me to how to get out here when I can't stay too long. I have a lot of things to do and time it against. Well, I can understand her. She said it's not her policy. It's what them tell her she have to work with. So, you're going to charge me if you put my money in there, and you're going to charge me if you take my money out there. I just don't get it.
Find another way. We have to go to the break.
All right, boss. Tomorrow, you're loud and clear.
All right, take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Deposit will have insurance. It's an account that comes with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead. No need to put your hands by your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, but no, you can't start it. Arthur House Party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JBIC is a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JBIC them protect me. Bank and building society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smartly. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JBIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness. Your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 922-411-225, or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's powering your health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
No matter who you are, where you are, or where you are do, link up with everybody. We're here to help, putting the solution in your hands. For the hustlers and 9-to-5ers, the bill payers and the bill forgetters, the credit senders and the plan buyers. For those without bank account and those who have bank accounts. It's like we said, this are the money up for everybody. That's why life is better with Link. Download the app today.
The College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, continues to play its part in revolutionizing Jamaica's productive and education sectors for the demands of the 21st century. Learn more about CASE's philosophy, programs, and services in a special feature during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. on Power 106 FM. This feature is brought to you by the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, Pasley Gardens, Portland. That's a special feature showcasing the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough.
Que hora es en español? Son las 5:27. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:27. Cienciai, TDN le Wu Dien, and the time just changed. Wu Dien cha ar shi liao fen. 26 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Good afternoon to Sitting Here Watching. That's the listener with that moniker. Dwight Spence says, bless up to all, just joining. And Sitting Here Watching says, next caller, he's not 100%. I'm not sure who that is. Winston, otherwise known as Errol from Maryland, says, good afternoon, Sir D. It's hard all over the world, not just Jamaica. Even the great USA is feeling it now. Errol in New Jersey says, good afternoon to Sir Dervan. Blessings to you too. Errol, all the best. We do have a few messages to clear. Let's go up the line here. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, this question is for the government. Why having a farm work program when we all know that most farmers... No, I'm not going to read that next part there of this message, because that is quite a facetious comment there on a group of people. Anyway, and now all of a sudden this requires AB, whatever that is, when they pay their money through an agency, they get through without, they can read. So how is that? Well, help them now, since you have the knowledge and the experience as a teacher. How about helping those who you think need your assistance? This one says, good afternoon. Is this the same WhatsApp line for Power Talk? No, this is the line that is assigned to me at Power 106 FM, personal cell phone, the company phone assigned to me, 876-365-3346. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon, good afternoon to you. James in East London, sharing with us the usual collection of stories. Good afternoon to you, James. Thank you. Xavier says, afternoon. Most civil servants are more active in politics than the regular Jamaican citizens. It is so unfortunate that the police force is so active to the point where it seems they are on a campaign. They are police. One, the road enforcing and making up laws that are affecting us Jamaican citizens, car seat law enforcing. You have to have carriage license to carry toolkit. Some are so bold they tell you to take it up with the government. Well, you can take it to court. You can take the matter to court. There's nothing to stop you from taking it to court or taking the government of Jamaica to court. That's an important part of our fledgling democracy. This one says, good afternoon, Dervan teacher, getting retro money today. Bap, bap, go Woolmers. I have no idea what that is about, but thank you for your message. Spider says, Mr. Malcolm, I would like the government to tell the country, why can't I go to the hardware to buy a sheet of ply and transport it in my own transportation? And why can't I transport my tools in my own transportation? You can test it in the court, Spider, if you feel that strongly about it. Test it in the court. A lot of things are being tested, have been tested, and are still being tested in our courts. This one says, teacher, blessings. I have to keep this message alive. Pilgrims will be coming to Jamaica soon. A cross is to be erected in a chosen space that was and is prepared 29 years now. The Minister of Education, Honorable Favour Williams, was touched by a child or anointed to be in that space. So under God, the schools will be at peace again. After all, she is the governess for the nation's children. That touch was an anointing to do a work. I stand ready to take her to that space, waiting to see challenge, says Geneva. Another one. Good day, Sir Malcolm. It is said that while Nero fiddled his thumb, Rome burns. Technically speaking, that's not true. I know we've been using that term for centuries now, but it's not true about Nero fiddling while Rome burns. Well, first of all, Nero wasn't around. Nero was at his, what's the name of his place now? In Antioch, was it, I think? And the fiddle was not yet invented. So Nero could not have fiddled while Rome burned. There's speculation that the musical instrument they might have been referring to was the lyre, L-Y-R-E, but not the fiddle, because the fiddle was not yet invented. So Nero could not have fiddled while Rome burned. And the rest of the message, and I see that while Biden is foolishly pushing the war against Russia, the BRICS countries, that's Brazil, Russia, India, what are the others? China, and the S is for, which country is that again? All right, it'll come back to me. But the BRICS countries are getting stronger and soon change the petrol money. Mexico has been the latest member to be added to the BRICS family. Will Jamaica remain with the West or align with the BRICS countries? The BRICS countries will change the world order and weaken USA. Sir Malcolm, I hope the festival song competition does not experience the confusion it had last year, 2022. That was a disgrace, says this person. David Crosburn says, hello, Dervan. Greetings to you and your listeners. Fascinatingly, your historical note on Peter Beckford, for whom Beckford Street, Kingston, Beckford Crawl, Clarendon, and Beckford Street, Savannah Lamar was named in the family's honor. While debating Jamaica's first divorce bill, he was killed in the legislature in Spanish Town. At the time, each member carried their sword into the house. Your listeners can listen to an interview I did in 2016 with Doreen Samuels, AgroBuzz, by Googling AgroBuzz. On the matter which your second caller made about men and women, it would be useful to read carefully Proverbs 31, 1-10. The king's mother outlined the relationship between men and women. On Women's Day, you outlined Proverbs 31, 1-12 to the end. Kind regards, David. Thank you, David Crosburn. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I have an immediate concern. I heard from the horse's mouth that the farm work program tickets being sold as a government subsidy to young citizens of Jamaica to come to America to work, but they have to pay thousands of US dollars. I know nothing about this. This has not been in the news as far as I am aware. So I have to read it with a grain of salt. To get access to government subsidy run free program. The question, who are these individuals collecting for the government farm work program? Well, if you can help us to find that out, please do. Cuban in Georgia, you seem to have information in that regard. And what is the direct time and date for Jamaica to abolish the King of England by the Constitution Minister in charge of deposing of the British monarch as head of state for Jamaica? Sir Malcolm, whenever I speak, I don't talk about myself or my family. I speak on behalf of the entire citizenry of the senior citizens and young people of Jamaica because, Sir Malcolm, all of them know I am the overseer, love them from the vessel of my heart, and to let them know they have greater potential than me to advocate stronger for their fellow citizens of the great nation of Jamaica. Sir Malcolm, I heard of a black who came up with the engineering of motor vehicles running on regular water, and we heard his news. But the big question I'm asking, can humans run vehicles on regular water? And Patricia Donald Phillips has a press release on Canadian farm workers. And we'll see if we can read this press release, but it says the Advocates Network demands full disclosure and swift action for Canadian farm workers. So now we're hearing about it. First official channel we're hearing it from, the Advocates Association. We'll see if we can read as much of it as possible.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
No matter who you are, where you are, or where you do, link up with everybody. We're here to help, putting the solution in your hands. For the hustlers and 9-to-5ers, the bill payers and the bill forgetters, the credit senders and the plan buyers. For those without bank account and those who have bank accounts. It's like we say, this are the money up for everybody. That's why life is better with Link. Download the app today.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, in association with Winchester MRI, Immune Active Bank, and Almighty Studios present Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for persons overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson and host Alicia Taylor airs every Friday at 3:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now, right here on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:13, que le retilo en français, les 5:13. Tien sai, tidien le, wu dien cha shi san fen. 13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they are supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We should tell you that the press release from the Advocates Network has nothing to do with farm work tickets. But in fact, the Advocates Network is demanding full disclosure and swift action for Canadian farm workers. And this comes on the heels of that fact-finding team that was dispatched to Canada to find out what was happening or not happening with the Canadian farm work program. So the Advocates Network is demanding full disclosure and swift actions in that regard. Thank you very much for sharing this press release with us, Advocates Network. We're still trying to clear messages. It's a lot. And when they pile up, it becomes so overwhelming. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, good afternoon to you. And someone here says it is possible to run a vehicle on water because water can be liquid, solid, and gas. Thank you very much. And Cuban in Georgia, notwithstanding the multiple messages he has already sent us, wants to get in a call. He's been holding for 16 minutes. Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. It has come to my attention, to my understanding, that the Jamaican workers in the Bahamas has been experiencing extreme difficulties.
What category or caliber or segment of the workforce are we talking? Who are these individuals?
The Jamaican workers who go there to work as doing housekeeping and
so those in the hospitality sector.
Hospitality sector. They have been experiencing extreme difficulties.
And where have they expressed
their work permit and their work conditions in Bahamas, and how they are being accepted in Bahamas is very unacceptable, as what I'm hearing from my sources on the ground in Bahamas.
Well, is there a reason why we were not hearing or we're not able to hear from any of these Jamaicans?
Well, Sir Malcolm, some of them are afraid to speak, and I'm the mouthpiece for them, so I'm gonna belt it out. You know what I mean? And we need the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get involved, because workers are over there working, and they don't know what their status is. Their work permit have been.
But surely they could not have entered the Bahamas to work the way they have been doing without having the imprimatur, the stamp of approval from the relevant agency or department or ministry. Surely they couldn't be there on a frolic of their own. And therefore, if there is a concern, they are equals. They are not chattel. They are equals. And therefore,
Yes.
if they're having an issue, the professional thing to do is to organize a meeting and to discuss whatever the issues are.
Because
And they,
my family are involved in this kind of stuff with over there in Bahamas. That's why I'm bringing it to the forefront.
yeah, well, those who are in this position, they have options. They need to just take advantage of the options that they have.
All right. Okay, Sir Malcolm, the next thing, because I have two things to talk about before, and I have to talk about your caller earlier who talked about the JRC, the Jamaica Railway Corporation. That caller made me feel so good. I feel so good when I heard him speak about the train and when he was a young boy. It's the same experience I have as him too. But next thing, Sir Malcolm, the expansion of the JUTC into the rural communities all across Jamaica. And we know the rural communities pay a good amount of chunk of taxes, more than most in Jamaica. So why are not we seeing the government expanding the JUTC to the rural communities, sir?
Easier said than done.
Okay, next thing. I heard the Prime Minister talk about the Blue Mao water dam that was to be built from the 1970s in his budget presentation. And I have to commend him for bringing this up because that is a suitable location to build a dam, because I know where he's talking. I went there when I was a little boy. I went up in the Blue Mountain Hills and saw the place there. You know? So we need to get all these things off the ground and get the people in Kingston and in Westmoreland to get water efficiently and constantly on a regular basis, and not have to be trucking water to them. You know what I mean? And the NWC need to be investing more money in water provision across the island.
Yeah, they will tell you that they've been investing billions of dollars, actually, the National Water Commission.
But Sir Malcolm, whenever we see when the rain fall, all the water run into the sea. And it's been happening for decades, from 60 years now, since independence. We not have seen this is the same thing we have from 1962 is running whatever operations we have. We have to come up with new ideas, sir. We have to come up with new plans because the population is growing in a exorbitant proportion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's one of the challenges, not just here in Jamaica, but globally, how to keep pace with a growing population, with growing needs and demands, and how to effectively respond to those. It's a matter worth discussing further, but we're at that point now where we have to wrap.
Yes, Sir Malcolm. So God bless you and thank you for having me on your program, and thank you for the time. And I want to let Jamaica know that we are always battling for them here in diaspora.
Thank you very much. All the best.
All the best, sir. Thank you. God bless.
Bless you too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 21st of March, 2023. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place and time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. Because there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough. But we know better. Just look them in the eyes and say, we wanna do it anyway. 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 Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. But you're doing me wrong, so wrong. Because of my pride was wrong. Oh no, oh no. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. But you're doing me wrong, so wrong. Because of my pride was wrong. Oh no, oh no. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Bye.